Guys, good morning. I have asked Ram sir to cancel today's lightning session because I would be extending when half an hour for this class. So I don't think he has seen this message, but maybe he's going to reply soon. All right. Let's now start with JSON parser class. So we have finished with the JSON generator, and like how automatically you can generate a JSON for, or rather, how you can convert a JSON, how you can perform the process of serialization for a raw form of JSON, or rather the records of an object. And this was a very important step because converting converting an object record. Now that object could be any Salesforce object, could be standard, as well as it could be a custom object. Converting a Salesforce object record in the form of JSON. And this process, by the way, is called as serialization. This was something which was very important because in the coming sessions, we are going to understand how we can transfer and receive the data to or from the third-party system. Now, what we have discussed was JSON generator, where we have learned how we can convert the records of Salesforce object. Like this example, in this example, I have converted a few of the records of account object, and I have given you few examples, few assignments as well, where you can convert the records of some of the Salesforce object into the JSON format. So what we are going to do after once they have been converted? It was a very obvious question. Like for this one, I have converted 5 account records in the form of JSON. What is going to be the next step after once that data is complete, that data has been converted into the JSON format? What is going to be the next step? Why we are at all converting this Salesforce object records in the form of JSON? So we were doing this because we wanted to transfer that data. We wanted to transfer that data. There is somebody inside in the outside world who is expecting this data, who is requiring that data. But when we wanted to transfer a record to outside world, whenever we are exposing the Salesforce record to outside world, that must be converted in the form of JSON. So that is what we have done. It was a very important step. It was a very important step. Now, second to this, the vice versa step, the equally important is JSON parser class, is the JSON parser class. So what we are going to learn with this, the JSON parser class, we would be learning how to convert a JSON data, in the form of an object record, Now, see, this object could be a Salesforce object. Like you have a data that is represented in the form of JSON. You would be converting that. Is a standard class for that JSON parser. We are going to understand what are those methods by which I could convert a JSON data. And after converting that data, let's say, for an instance, as an example, you are storing that data inside account object. or maybe a contact object, any object of the Salesforce. That is the first case. A second case could be, you have created a wrapper class and you are representing that data in a custom class for this. Now, what does it means by a wrapper class? I'll give you a small description of this. This is going to be an assignment for you. Please write it down. Every one of you, please write this question. I wanted you guys to explore more about what does it means by a wrapper class. What does it means by a wrapper class? What is a wrapper class? What is a wrapper class? Inside an integration, there would be a lot many time. There would be a lot many time when you would create something called as a wrapper class. So what is a wrapper class? I will give you a little background of this, but I wanted everyone of you to Google this. This is also important from the point of interview because there are some of the common interview questions which usually everyone would ask, and this is one of them. This is one of them. Interviews are always unpredicted. There is no, to say, there's no common set of the questions, but yes, there are a few of the questions that generally is being asked in almost every or at least 70 to 80% in the interviews. One of them is, what is a wrapper class? What is the use of this? All right. Let me try to explain you this little more. See, whenever you wanted to have a custom database, I probably have an example of this. Meanwhile, while I'm explaining, I'm just trying to find it out. So whenever we wanted to have a custom database inside in my program, let's say we already have certain objects like account, contact. These are some objects. They are physical objects of the Salesforce. Maybe some custom objects are also there, like candidate, position. But if you are receiving a record for which you don't have an object, but still you wanted to represent that data by using a custom database, then we create something called as a wrapper class. I have created that. So I'm just trying to recall what was that product. Candy community. Yes, this was. I am not sure if I have taken the backup of that code. Let me just try to see. No, this is all wrong. Well, I have created, but I'm just trying to find it out. Was that example? See, it not give. Actually, I have worked in a lot many projects, so I could hardly remember like where I have used that Uh, Now this was not given. Let me try to open this. 1 second, just give me. If I would able to, if I would able to show you, it would be a good thing. Otherwise, we already have a topic. I'll just try to find it out. Again, the second thing was like, yeah, this is one of the example done from this as well. Otherwise, there was one integration which I have created. Let me see to this one. Yes. Now see, this is an integration which I have created for, for one of the module. You would be going to learn everything. This is actually a web service, and every web service must always be started by writing an annotation called at the rate REST resource. And inside in the REST resource, you have to define what kind of method you are using. HTTP get, post, put, batch. There are certain methods. You would be learning everything, don't worry. And maybe that time as well, if possible, I'm going to show you this example. So this is something you are going to learn uh, very soon, maybe in a week or something. So I am going to explain regarding this. I would be explaining in that part. Right now, I wanted you to understand what does it means by a wrapper class. So see, with this class, with this integration class, with this, and if you can see how usually codes are being written in real time, you have to make your code uh, commented out with a lot many things. This is a general pattern. It varies between organization to organization, of course. So for the organization for which I was working, this was the pattern which needs to be get followed. So there are a lot many information like who have created, when it was being created, what is the purpose of this class and everything. Now, for this integration, I was I was receiving, I was receiving, or I guess I was transferring. I think I was at HTTP post. Yes. So I was transferring a few parameter to the external system, like error code, if any error message was there, right? And something like this. In short, what you can understand out of this context would be like, this is my Salesforce, and based on certain request that was coming from the external system, based on certain request, what was coming from the external system, I was giving a response. So I have created an API for this. This what you are seeing right now is a web service, is an API. This is an API. So I was not transferring anything from an object. I was not transferring anything from an object. There was no Salesforce object dedicatedly used for this purpose. But I'll have to form a database for this. So that database I have created by using a wrapper class. That database I have used by using a wrapper class. I'll show you what it is means. I have created a class. This is just a class, as you can see. Why it's global? Because it's API. This is just a class, as you can see, a request response JSON. This is what name I have given. Now this class was having a few of the string variables, a few of the string variables, a few of the string variables, as you can see. Now request response JSON, as you can see, I have used this global static request response JSON, and I have created, I have created a method for this. I have created an object for this. This is same as you would create an object for a class, for an object. Let's consider you have an object called account. Tell me how you would create an object for account. Account ACC equals to new account, isn't it? Contact CON equals to new contact. This way, you create an object of that class called account, class called contact. But if you wanted to represent a local database which is not there, there is no object in Salesforce whose name is request response JSON. But still, I am creating an object of that. You see this request response JSON, this object name equals to new request response JSON followed by this default constructor. This is something like account ACC equals to new account default constructor. Contact CON equals to new contact, something like that. Like, isn't it? Is there any object called as request response JSON in Salesforce? There's no object. But still, I was able to create a local object for this, which I have used inside in my program, right? For so many times, like error messages. How I was able to form this? Because I have created a wrapper class for this. This is that example, guys. This is that example. All right. So I wanted you guys to learn more about wrapper class. Go and Google this. Make your notes because this could be one of the question in interview. All right. Let's now start what we are going to learn by today. And you don't have your LWC class today. I just have messaged Ramsar. Maybe he has not seen, but whenever he would come, he would going to see this. All right. So you don't have to worry about the next class after this. JSON parser is the opposite of JSON generator. JSON parser is the opposite of JSON generator. Inside in the JSON generator, you learn the process of serialization. That means you learn how you can convert Salesforce object data into JSON. How you can convert Salesforce object data into a JSON. That was serialization. And now we are learning, like, if this is a third-party system, and if this is the Salesforce. So this third-party system, is transferring something to the Salesforce. But that data is in the form of JSON. So how you can convert the JSON data into Salesforce object, right? This is called as deserialization. Converting JSON data into Salesforce object is called as deserialization. And to perform this deserialization, we have a ready-made class called JSON parser class. JSON parser. Let's start with this. You have a lot of theoretical thing over here. Go with everything, right? Learn this theory, read it out until you would not. So read this theory and you would learn, more about this, right? All right. Let me start with how we can create the object of a JSON parser class. So it is same like you have created it for the JSON generator. For the JSON generator, it was like system.json generator, name of the object is then equals to system.json.create generator. Then there was a parameter called as true. For JSON generator, it was like this. For JSON generator, it was like system dot. Yeah, Ram just have responded to okay. That's a good thing. System.json generator object name equals to system.json.create generator with a parameter as true. Here there is a slight difference into this. System JSON parser object, then again system.json.create parser, like it was create generator, here it is create parser. Parameter, you have to supply the entire JSON string over here. What you wanted to be converted, you have to supply the entire string over here. So we merely don't, we in the real time, we split this process into two separate things. What we usually do is like, instead of transferring the entire JSON content like this, instead of transferring the entire JSON content inside over here in this method, which actually have to be done, what we usually do as a common practice, we first of all define a string variable. We define a string variable, we create a string variable, and inside in the string variable, we give that complete JSON response. Then if let's suppose if the name of this variable is JSON content, yeah, JSON data, raw data, whatever the name you have given to that. So that name you would be, you would put it over here. This is what we usually do. This is what we usually do. Right? You would be going to learn more about this when I start writing a program. All right. Let's see the methods. There are a few of methods like next token, get current token, get text, get the boolean, get the decimal, get date and time. And there are a few more methods. Next token is simply as simple as, if for example, if you are standing right now over here, you are standing right now over here, you wanted to move over here. You are standing right now over here on this. See, first of all, yeah, let me just tell you, every single entity, every single symbol is a token. Every single symbol is a token, So if you are standing, if your cursor is blinking right now on this, I would say this is the current token where my cursor is present. Now, if I wanted to move my cursor, if I wanted to move from this token to, let's say, this token, if you are right now standing over here and you wanted to move the cursor, you wanted to parse, you wanted to scan the next token, you would be going to make a use of, there's a method called as next token. So next token would help you to parse from one token to another, to traverse from one token to another, to travel from one token to another, to move on from one token to another token. That is what is the purpose of next token. Get current token would take the value of this token. What is this token? What is this? What is this? Get current token would fetch the value. Like if you are right now standing over here, you applied a method called get current token, it would give LAT. If you are standing over here, you applied a method get current token, it would result 39.31. If you are standing over here, you applied get current token, it would give the value time zone. In short, get current token would give the value of current token. Now get text, if the value is text, we'll have to use this method. If the value is boolean, we'll have to use this method. If the value is decimal is applicable for all numbers, floating point number, integer numbers, right? It is applied for every one of them. So for number, there's a method get decimal. For string, there's a method text. For boolean, there's a method get boolean value. For date, time, date, getting the value of date, this is the method. Getting the value of time, again, this is the method. Getting the value of date and time, again, this is the method. One common method, get date time value, used for individually getting the value of date or time, or combinedly getting the value of date and time. All right. So there are only a few of the methods. Now, the next is JSON token enumeration. People usually find it very difficult, although if you would understand the similarities, you would never feel this is something which is tough. If you would remember, guys, if you would remember, While we were learning triggers, while we were learning triggers, before start coding for that, we have discussed a topic called trigger context variables, right? Trigger context variable is before, is after, is insert, is update, something like that. That time I found it a little difficult to explain theoretically it, right? But I have told you one thing that I'm trying to do my best to explain you this trigger context variable, even though if you wouldn't understand it right now, don't worry. Because when we start implementing the trigger and when you start writing these things in the code, you would for sure would understand what is the purpose of trigger. Like we write down trigger dot is before, trigger dot is after. Would see for the event. Trigger dot is insert, is update. This would see for what kind of DML operation it is. It was just a question, you know. It was just a question whether this trigger is a before trigger, is before. If this trigger is going to apply it after trigger, you are applying this before or after insert, is insert, something like that, right? Maybe that time you have find it difficult to understand what I was trying to explain you that time. But later on, when we start writing the code, you find it, oh, this was something like this. Oh, it's easy to understand, isn't it? Now, in the same way, this JSON token enumeration, probably you could feel this is what I'm saying, what is saying. I don't understand what is the meaning of field name, start object, end object, start array. So this relevancy, you would find it more easy when I would actually start writing a code for this. And these are something just like your trigger context variable. They are the questions. And you would always put this inside if, like you did this with trigger context variable. You remember? Trigger context variable we have always used inside an if statement. If trigger dot is new, if trigger dot is before. So we have put up a question. If क्या ये trigger is before trigger है? क्या ये trigger is inside पे apply हो? So that was a question. In the same way, trigger, the JSON token enumeration, these are a kind of questions we are going to put this inside if statement. If this is a start of object, क्या ये start of object? If this is an end of object, if it is like do this. If it's a start of array, end of array, start of array, do this, end of array, do that. So this is to understand what is the type of token and what business logic should be put inside in that, right? So this is called as JSON token enumerations. So instead of understanding it from here, I feel we should write down a program. And then we would going to understand this, right? Let me start with the smallest one. I have a JSON string. JSON is usually represented like this. There is a JSON string. This is one of the JSON string, and we need to parse this. We need to parse it. All right, we need to break it down. We need to break it down. All right, we need to break it down. How you are going to do that? So, I mean, this was actually the string. I should have done it over here. This is a JSON string that needs to be get parsed. This is a JSON string that needs to be get parsed. ये है वो JSON string जिसको हमें parse करना है. All right, हमें इसे parse करना है. And we need to fetch out the valuable information out of this. What is that valuable information? What is the value of product code, product name, manufacturer, unit price, location? It has to be displayed, but it should not be displayed like this. Simply ऐसा display होना चाहिए. Like I would just show you one of them. जैसे कि should have to be displayed maybe equals to लगा के ऐसा. The value of product code मतलब आप जब इसे finally if you are displaying it, so in the console it should be displayed like this. In the console, it should be displayed like this. The value of product code equals to this one. The value of product name is laptop and everything. Right now, this is in the form of JSON. You have to parse it. You have to parse it. So how you are going to do that? Let's try to understand it clearly with the code. So I'm creating a class. Let me first of all go to the Salesforce. So I would create a new class for this one. Let me close everything out of over here. And let's create a new class called JSON Parser Utility. Inside in this class, I am creating a method public static void parse JSON. You can give any name. Try always to give relevant name, right? And let's now understand how we can parse the JSON string. All right, how we can parse the JSON string. I just have told you that if you wanted, you first of all would require to create an object of JSON parser class for this. This is that syntax what you have to use. Now inside in this syntax, like system.json parser, give the name of the object, system.json.create parser, and you have to mention the entire JSON string over here. But we usually don't do that. What we do, we first of all would define, we first of all would define a string variable. We would store the entire JSON string into that, and that string name we are going to give it inside this, right? So this is what I'm going to follow. I would be creating, I would be creating one string variable with the name JSON content. You can give any name. It's not necessary that you should give this name as well. So JSON content with this name, I'm creating a variable. Now what I'm going to do, I would be copying and pasting that entire JSON string over here. This is that JSON string, right? All right, so I have just copied and I'll be pasting it out. I'll be pasting it out, right? I'll be pasting it out. This entire JSON string over here, right? This entire JSON string that we wanted to parse, So I have pasted it over here, right? This is my JSON string. Now, I can say that this is my first step. Store the JSON data into a string variable, right? Now, as the next step, I would be create create the object of JSON parser class. So I would be creating an object of JSON parser class. So how to do that? We are familiar with the syntax. So it would be like system dot JSON parser. See, it would be like system dot JSON parser. Now give any name. You can give any name. P parser is the name I have given. Now system dot JSON dot create. See, create parser, and see the difference between generator, the parameter for the create generator and create parser. In case of this one, create generator, you have to give a Boolean parameter. You have to give a Boolean parameter. We ideally give this as true. You can search this out in the Google and try to find out like what happens if you have given the parameter as false. What would happen in that case? If the parameter has been given as false, right? So go and Google this out. Anyways, we are not using create generator, rather we are using create parser. Create parser. Now here, let me do one thing. I just replace the name with this one, right? Here, what I did, oh my God. Yes, I just have replaced the name of that uh, variable, right? So here you have to mention that variable. You can give the entire JSON string over here, or else if you have already stored that string in a variable, you can give the name. I just have replaced that, nothing else. ऐसा कुछ नहीं जरूरी नहीं आप ऐसा ही करो. You can give any name. Later on, you can copy that name over here. All right. So this is what it is. Now, Now, beyond this. Okay. Once you have stored that JSON content into a variable, and then you have given that variable name inside this syntax, inside this syntax. Now, what we have to do? Listen this, because this is the first program. I'm taking it very gradually, very small, very slowly. Okay, I'm taking it very slowly because I wanted you to understand every single line step of this. If you wouldn't understand even a small thing, please raise your hand. We need to parse this JSON content. We need to parse this. And we have to parse it from the first to the last, right? From the first token, which is start of the object, to the last token, to the end of object. So how we are going to parse this from beginning to the end? How we are going to parse this from beginning to the end? For that, we are making a use of a loop. For that, we would making a use of a loop. But I would, instead of using for loop, I would rather make a use of while. While. That is, I think that is probably the first time when officially we are using while. While p parser, when I wanted, up to what extent I wanted I wanted to iterate this loop, up to what extent. That is what is I'm giving the condition. P parser dot C. It has taken all. These all are the functions of your get parser, create parser class. See, these all are the functions. These many functions it have. Right? So I would be taking that p parser dot next token. P parser dot next token is not equals to null. Till the time next token would give me something. Till the time next token would give me something instead of null. Instead of null, I would be iterating this content. When it would give me null, I would rather, we would not enter inside in this loop. We would come over here. Yahan pe. So if we are here, if we landed here, means there is no token left, or end of the JSON string. End of the JSON string. So when your JSON would be ended, then you would land over here. Your cursor, your control would come over here. Because till the time the value of next token is not null, you would be iterated inside in this loop. तो जब तक है जहां जाने जहां हम नाचेंगे, right? So till the time the value of token would be there. जब तक tokens हैं, जब तक tokens हैं, जब तक tokens हैं, जब तक value चली आ रही है, तब तक आप लूप के अंदर रहेंगे. और जब लूप से बाहर आने का मतलब ये होता है कि अब आपका जेसन कंटेंट जो है वो खत्म हो चुका है. तो उस पर क्या करना है वो बात की बात है. फिलहाल तो ये इंपॉर्टेंट. ठीक. सो ये लूप जो है आपका, ये इटरेट होगा टिल द टाइम नेक्स्ट टोकन इज नॉट इक्वल टू नल. और इन शॉर्ट, अगर आप इसको और सिंपल वे से समझना चाहते हैं, जब तक आपका जेसन कंटेंट है तब तक लूप चलेगा. जहां जेसन कंटेंट खत्म हो गया वहां पर लूप आपका ऑटोमेटिकली एंड हो जाएगा. सो व्हाइल p parser dot next token is not equals to null. Alright. अब मैं वो जो कंडीशंस आपको बता रहा था, मैं by using take JSON enumerations and these functions, these methods of JSON parser class, along with the enumerations, so I'm going to write down a question inside in the program by using an if statement. See how. एक explain करता हूं मैं. You would going to understand. If you would understand this, you would understand every one of them. Don't worry. If p parser, let me just copy this. P parser, if p parser dot get current token. Yes. So if p parser dot get current token, let me first write it down. Equals to JSON token dot field name. First, let me create this context. I'm going to explain. And pparser dot get text equals to what is that content? All right. Yes. Now let me explain. Let me explain you. See, आपने करना क्या है? आपको इसको ध्यान से देखना है, कुछ नहीं करना है। पहली चीज, ये बहुत कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है, ये मुझे नहीं समझ में आने वाला। अगर दिमाग में ये सब चीज चल रही है तो उसको बाहर निकाल। आपकी कोई क्लास नहीं है इसके, रिलैक्स रहिए। बस आपको यही समझना है आज के दिन, ठीक है? और फिर इसमें प्रैक्टिस करनी है, थोड़ी बहुत एक्सरसाइज कर लेनी चाहिए सब इसमें। सो ये अगर मैं सिर्फ इतना पोर्शन अगर मैं देखता हूं, जेसन से आप लोग फेमिलियर, जेसन से आप लोग फेमिलियर। जेसन की और वैल्यू ऐसा एक पेयर होता है। जेसन जो होता है कि every single entity inside JSON is always represented by two things. The first is the key, the next is the value. First is always a key, first is always a key, next to that is a value. हाँ, इन दोनों को सेपरेट करने के लिए एक सेपरेटर भी होता है यहाँ पे, which is a colon over here. Colon का इंपॉर्टेंस सिर्फ इतना है कि वो puts a separation, puts a divergent between key and value. Otherwise, you just take separator, तो कुछ नहीं। अब ध्यान से सुनिए, keys are always string, इसमें कोई शक नहीं। Inside in the JSON format, keys are always string. Keys are always string. Keys are always string. Value could be a string, could also be a number, could also be a boolean, could also be a time, could also be a date, could also be date time, could also be a null. Isn't it? Keys are always string. Keys are always string. Now, just looking into this, not this. मैं चाहता हूं आप लोग सिर्फ यहाँ ध्यान दें। सबसे पहला टोकन जो उसने पार्स किया, सबसे पहला टोकन जो उसने पार्स किया, वो क्या है? की है। क्या है? की है। सबसे पहला टोकन जो पार्स किया गया वो क्या है? की है। की है, ठीक है। चलो अब मैं आपको लेके चलता हूं कोड पे। इफ पी पार्सर डॉट गेट करंट टोकन देता है आपको वैल्यू जहां पर अभी हम खड़े हैं, है ना? कहाँ खड़े हैं? वी आर स्टैंडिंग ऑन द फर्स्ट टोकन ओवर हियर। हम यहाँ पर हैं, राइट? यहाँ पे जो हाईलाइटेड है ग्रीन। इफ पी पार्सर डॉट गेट करंट टोकन, जहां पर अभी कर्सर ब्लिंक हो रहा है, जहां पर आप खड़े हो, इक्वल्स टू इफ इट इज जेसन टोकन डॉट फील्ड नेम, क्या वो फील्ड नेम है? दिस इज द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन। क्या ये फील्ड नेम है? यू टेल मी दिस, यस और नो। हाँ, ये फील्ड नेम है या वैल्यू है? प्रोडक्ट कोड, इफ आई वुड आस्क यू व्हाट इट इज, ये फील्ड नेम है या वैल्यू है? भाई वैल्यू तो ये क्या है? ये फील्ड नेम। ये क्या है? वैल्यू है। ये क्या है? फील्ड नेम। ये क्या है? वैल्यू है। ये क्या है? फील्ड नेम। पहला क्वेश्चन, यू आर स्टैंडिंग राइट नाउ ओवर हियर, प्रोडक्ट कोड पे। तो पहला क्वेश्चन कि फी पार्सर डॉट गेट करंट टोकन, वो करंट टोकन की वैल्यू लीजिए और बताइए कि इफ इट्स इक्वल्स टू वेदर दैट वेयर यू आर स्टैंडिंग ऑन दैट टोकन जेसन टोकन इज इट फील्ड नेम? क्या वो फील्ड नेम है? अगर ये कंडीशन ट्रू होती है एंड, तो उसके साथ एक और चीज देखना है, और साथ में ये भी अगर ये दोनों ट्रू होती है तो ही हम यहाँ एंटर करेंगे, अदरवाइज नॉट, बिकॉज हमने एंड कंडीशन डाल रखी है, राइट? चलो, इतना तो ट्रू है। यस, ये वाला पहला तो ट्रू है। हाँ भाई, अभी जो करंट टोकन की जो वैल्यू है वो फील्ड नेम, करंट टोकन है बिन प्रोडक्ट कोड, वो फील्ड नेम है। ठीक है, अगर वो फील्ड नेम है बहुत अच्छी बात है। देन नेक्स्ट एक और चीज देखनी है, पी पार्सर डॉट गेट टेक्स्ट। अच्छा, ये गेट टेक्स्ट हर बार जब भी आप फील्ड नेम पूछोगे तो फील्ड नेम क्या रहेगा? स्ट्रिंग। स्ट्रिंग को स्ट्रिंग को स्ट्रिंग को कैप्चर करने की जो मेथड है, मैंने कहा अभी, वो है गेट टेक्स्ट। नंबर के लिए गेट डेसिमल, बूलियन के लिए गेट बूलियन। लेकिन भाई किसी भी जेसन फॉर्मेट में आपकी जो फील्ड नेम होती है वो हमेशा क्या होती है? स्ट्रिंग। कोई भी फील्ड नेम हमेशा क्या होता है? स्ट्रिंग। कोई भी फील्ड नेम हमेशा क्या होता है? स्ट्रिंग। कोई भी फील्ड नेम हमेशा क्या होता है? स्ट्रिंग। वैल्यू स्ट्रिंग भी हो सकती है, दूसरी भी हो सकती है। वैल्यूज पे जब जाएंगे तब का तब देखेंगे। फिलहाल फिलहाल पी पार्सर डॉट गेट करंट टोकन, क्या वो फील्ड नेम है? भाई आप यहाँ पर खड़े हो अभी प्रोडक्ट कोड पे, क्या ये फील्ड नेम है? हाँ है। यस। एंड पी पार्सर डॉट गेट टेक्स्ट, अगर वो फील्ड नेम है तो गेट टेक्स्ट, उसका टेक्स्ट निकालिए। और क्या वो टेक्स्ट प्रोडक्ट कोड है? ये हार्ड कोडेड है, बिकॉज ये हार्ड कोड ही रहेगा। आगे में हम इसको सॉफ्ट कोड भी करेंगे, डोंट वरी। ये पहला एग्जाम्पल है इसलिए हार्ड कोडेड, बट आगे मैं सॉफ्ट कोड करूंगा इसको मैं, डोंट वरी अबाउट दैट। डोंट वरी। अभी तो समझो आप, पहले इस पे ध्यान। उसके व्यतिरिक्त क्या है उस पे ध्यान। उसके दाएं और बाएं मत सोचो, सेंटर पे रहो अभी। जो मैं बता रहा हूँ उस पे ध्यान। इसके अलावा क्या है भाई? सर ये हार्ड कोडेड क्यों है? क्या ये हमेशा ऐसे रहने वाला? डोंट आस्क मी दैट क्वेश्चन। वो सारी चीजें मैं क्लियर करके दूंगा, डोंट वरी अबाउट दैट। फिलहाल तो आप जो है, आपकी ग्रेविटी है वो सेंटर पे होनी चाहिए। ठीक है, चलिए। यू आर स्टैंडिंग ओवर हियर, योर कर्सर इज स्टैंडिंग, योर कंट्रोल इज स्टैंडिंग ओवर हियर, इट इज पार्सिंग दैट स्टेट। ये इस वाले टोकन पर है। क्या ये टोकन फील्ड नेम है? हाँ, यस इट इज फील्ड नेम। ये वैल्यू नहीं है, वैल्यू तो इसके बाद आएगी। क्या ये फील्ड नेम है? यस। अच्छा, अगर वो फील्ड नेम है तो गेट टेक्स्ट। गेट टेक्स्ट इसलिए क्योंकि फील्ड नेम हमेशा स्ट्रिंग होता है। गेट टेक्स्ट जो है वो हमेशा फील्ड नेम हमेशा स्ट्रिंग होता है। स्ट्रिंग को लेने का तरीका है गेट टेक्स्ट। तो गेट टेक्स्ट, उसका टेक्स्ट लीजिए और ये बताइए क्या वो टेक्स्ट प्रोडक्ट कोड है? देखो यहाँ ये बिल्कुल सेम होना चाहिए, बिल्कुल सेम। अगर आप इसको कैपिटल भी रिप्लेस कर दोगे ये रॉन्ग हो जाएगा, ये कंडीशन फेल हो जाएगी, क्योंकि ये एग्जैक्ट कंपैरिजन करता है। ये एग्जैक्ट कंपैरिजन करता है। तो यहाँ पे ये केस सेंसिटिव है, ध्यान रखें इस चीज का। अगर आप इसको टाइप कर रहे हैं और टाइप करते वक्त आपने कुछ भी ऊपर नीचे किया, फेल हो जाएगा। एग्जैक्ट कंपैरिजन है। तो ये दोनों कंडीशन हमारी सेटिस्फाई हो रही है। पहली चीज, ये प्रोडक्ट कोड एक फील्ड नेम है और उसकी वैल्यू लेने के बाद, टेक्स्ट लेने के बाद पता चला कि भाई इट्स अ प्रोडक्ट कोड। तो आप यहां पर आ गए। ठीक है, आप यहां पर आ गए। तो व्हेन यू आर ओवर हियर, अब जब आप यहाँ आ चुके हो तो आपको उसकी वैल्यू चेक करनी है यहां तक। फिलहाल आप यहां पर हो, यहां से यहां तक कैसे पहुंचोगे? हाउ विल यू टेक दिस नेक्स्ट स्टेप? एक स्टेप आगे बढ़ना है। पार्सिंग को एक स्टेप आगे नेक्स्ट टोकन पे लेके जाना है, आगे बढ़ाना है। तो व्हाट यू वुड गोइंग टू डू इन दैट केस? फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, जैसे आप लूप के अंदर आते हो, सबसे पहली चीज रहेगी पी पार्सर डॉट नेक्स्ट टोकन, ताकि हम एक स्टेप आगे बढ़ पाए। वी वेर बीइंग स्टैंडिंग ऑन दिस, और जब मैं यहाँ था तो हमने देखा कि क्या भाई ये करंट टोकन जो है क्या वो फील्ड नेम है? हाँ है, फील्ड नेम है। अच्छा, अगर वो फील्ड नेम है तो क्या उसकी जो वैल्यू है गेट टेक्स्ट लेने के बाद वो प्रोडक्ट कोड है? तो हाँ ये भी है, तो ये भी है। तो फिर आप लूप के अंदर आ गए। नाउ यू वांटेड टू पास द नेक्स्ट थिंग। आगे बढ़ाना है ना डिस्कशन को, वहीं थोड़ी ना खड़े रहेंगे सारी जिंदगी। आगे बढ़ना है, आगे बढ़ना है तो उसकी वैल्यू को पास करना है। वैल्यू पास करने के लिए पहले आपको यहां से यहां तक ट्रेवर्स नहीं करना पड़ेगा। भैया आप फिलहाल यहाँ पर है, यू हैव टू टेक control a next step ahead. How would you do that? There is a method p parser dot next token। डिस्कशंस को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए, कर्सर्स को, कंट्रोल को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए एक टोकन से दूसरे टोकन टोकन तक पास करने के लिए जो मेथड यूज होती है वो है नेक्स्ट टोकन। चलिए, तो अब जब हम आगे बढ़ ही चुके हैं तो लेट मी डू सिस्टम डॉट डीबग। अब मैं लिखता हूँ यहाँ पे ये कस्टम स्टेटमेंट, द वैल्यू ऑफ प्रोडक्ट पी प्रोडक्ट कोड इक्वल्स टू प्लस प्लस what I wanted to give, I wanted to give, I wanted to print the value of that, right? मैं उसके वैल्यू प्रिंट करता हूँ। सो here I would be giving प्लस p parser dot वैल्यू। आप देख सकते हैं वैल्यू एक नंबर है 40056। तो मुझे नंबर चाहिए तो गेट आई कैन टेक डेसिमल, आई गेस आई हैव डेसिमल तो है ही हमारे पास। इंटीजर है क्या? इंटीजर भी है। यस, देयर इज एन इंटीजर वैल्यू। लेट मी कॉपी दिस टू नोट्स। आज नोट्स अपडेट कर देता हूँ। तो एक तो ये है आपका गेट डेसिमल वैल्यू है, एंड यू ऑल्सो हैव integer value, get integer value. You also have this, right? Get integer value. I would write down that explanation later on. But yes, this is there. So you don't always have to give decimal. If it's an integer, if it's a integer number without decimal point, without that floating point number, you can use get integer as well, right? तो ये वैल्यू देख सकता हूँ मैं कि ये वैल्यू में पॉइंट पॉइंट नहीं है. So it's a whole number. It's not a floating point number. It's a whole number. So for that, there is a method get integer. You don't have to literally use get decimal over here. All right. सो सिस्टम डॉट डीबग प्रोडक्ट कोड इक्वल्स टू प्रोडक्ट कोड, ये तो आपने लिखा. हाँ, यहाँ पे वैल्यू कौन सी दी आपने? ये वैल्यू. अभी योर कर्सर इज ब्लिंकिंग ओवर हियर, यू आर स्टैंडिंग ऑन दिस, एंड दिस इज बिकॉज अ नंबर. टू गेट द वैल्यू ऑफ नंबर यू हैव यूज गेट इंटीजर वैल्यू. अगर ये लैपटॉप होता विच इज अ स्ट्रिंग तो आगे आने वाला है, तो मैं ये मेथड यूज करता है गेट टेक्स्ट, बिकॉज दिस इज अ टेक्स्ट. ये हाँ, दिस इज अ टेक्स्ट, दिस इज ऑल्सो अ टेक्स्ट, दिस इज अगेन इज अ नंबर. यहाँ पर मैं गेट इंटीजर वैल्यू, यहाँ पर मैं यहाँ पर मैं गेट टेक्स्ट लूंगा, यहाँ पर मैं गेट टेक्स्ट लूंगा, यहाँ पे मैं गेट इंटीजर वैल्यू. तो बेस्ड ऑन व्हाट काइंड ऑफ वैल्यू यू कैन सी दिस, यू वुड गोइंग टू अप्लाई दैट मेथड अकॉर्डिंगली. राइट. चलिए, नाउ अब ये कहानी यहाँ पे खत्म हो जाती है, ये वाली. अब आपको आगे बढ़ना है, प्रोडक्ट नेम पे जाना है. राइट, प्रोडक्ट नेम पे जाना है. सो फॉर दैट डॉट नेक्स्ट टोकन आई गेस नहीं लगता. देखें तो अगर एरर आया तो करूंगा p parser dot next token, but मेरे हिसाब से वो next token अपने आप ले लेता है. When you move out of the context of a loop of if statement, it would automatically take that, maybe. नहीं तो फिर मुझे एक यहाँ पे एक स्टेटमेंट ऐड करनी पड़ेगी, p parser dot next token फिर से ऐड करना पड़ेगा. मैं देखता हूँ, मुझे भी ठीक से श्योर नहीं है, बट मेरे हिसाब से ये ले लेता है. once you get out of the scope of this loop, ये next token ऑटोमेटिकली ले लेता है जहां तक. ठीक है. considering this as a possibility considering this as a possibility that from here we have automatically migrated to this one. Considering this as a possibility that we have been migrated, we have been traversed from this token to this token automatically, because we go out of the scope of a loop. जब भी हम loop से बाहर निकलते हैं तो this is usually done automatically. loop के अंदर आपको खुद से करना पड़ता है. ठीक है. एनीवेज, तो कंसीडरिंग दिस एज अ पॉसिबिलिटी, अगर ये नहीं हुआ तो फिर मैं एक ये वाली स्टेटमेंट फिर से रिपीट मारूंगा यहाँ पे इसके नीचे नेक्स्ट टोकन पहुंचाऊंगा, उसके बाद लूप से बाहर निकलेंगे. तो अभी मुझे श्योर नहीं है, लेकिन हाँ, फिर भी हम ट्राई जरूर करेंगे. कंसीडरिंग दिस एज अ पॉसिबिलिटी दैट वी आर स्टैंडिंग राइट नाउ ऑन दिस द नेक्स्ट टोकन, आई वुड मेक दोज कंपैरिजंस. मैं अब ये कंपैरिजंस करता हूं. तो आई वुड लुक इनटू दिस कि पी पार्सर डॉट गेट करंट टोकन, आप जहां अभी खड़े हैं यहाँ पे, गेट करंट टोकन उसकी वैल्यू लीजिए, गेट करंट टोकन, और ये पता करिए कि क्या वो फील्ड नेम है. इफ दैट इज अ फील्ड नेम, प्रोडक्ट नेम इज अ फील्ड नेम, पहला कंडीशन ट्रू होता है. एंड देन फील्ड नेम इज ऑलवेज गोइंग टू बी अ स्ट्रिंग, और स्ट्रिंग लेने का तरीका होता है गेट टेक्स्ट. और क्या उसकी वैल्यू प्रोडक्ट नेम है, बिकॉज द सेकेंड फील्ड नेम इज प्रोडक्ट नेम. इफ इट इज लाइक दैट, अगर ये दोनों कंडीशन ट्रू होती है तो यू वुड एंटर इनसाइड इन दिस लूप. पहले तो आप लूप के अंदर हैं, तो यू वुड गो दिस लाइक नेक्स्ट टोकन, यू वुड ट्रेवर्स फ्रॉम हियर टू हियर. नाउ नाउ अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस प्रोडक्ट नेम, सो प्रोडक्ट नेम यहाँ पे मैं चेंजेस कर रहा हूँ. प्रोडक्ट नेम है लैपटॉप. लैपटॉप अगर आप देखें तो इट्स अ टेक्स्ट, तो मैं इसको रिप्लेस कर देता हूँ. वहां पे गेट नंबर है, p parser डॉट गेट इंटीजर वैल्यू है, इसको मैं रिप्लेस कर देता हूँ गेट टेक्स्ट के साथ. based on based on what type of value it is, based on what type of value it is. based on what type of value it is. ठीक है. चलिए, नेक्स्ट है मैन्युफैक्चरर. मैन्युफैक्चरर भी आप देख सकते हैं, इसकी जो वैल्यू है वो स्ट्रिंग है, तो गेट टेक्स्ट ही लगने वाला है. सो मैं ये वाला पोर्शन कॉपी कर लेता हूँ और इसको पेस्ट इट आउट करता हूँ यहाँ. p parser डॉट गेट करंट टोकन, with considering this as a possibility कि भाई हम लैपटॉप पे खड़े थे, our cursor was onto this, और जैसे ही हम लूप से बाहर निकले, it has automatically being migrated, that has automatically being traversed to the next token. We are now standing on manufacturer. We are now standing on manufacturer. Considering this as a possibility, wrong भी हो सकता है, आगे देख लेते हैं. Get current token, और क्या वो current token field name है? Yes, this is a field name. Yes, ये field name है. अगर field name है तो get text. Text. Field names are always text, always string. वो manufacturer है क्या? If it's a manufacturer, तो आप next token पे जाएंगे. Next token मतलब आप यहाँ पर आ जाएंगे. और यहाँ आने के बाद में p parser dot get text, उसका टेक्स्ट प्रिंट हो जाएगा. तो प्रोडक्ट क्या है? वो प्रोडक्ट मैन्युफैक्चरर. और राइट, प्रोडक्ट मैन्युफैक्चरर की वैल्यू प्रिंट हो जाएगी. After that, we would move on to the next, which is unit price, and unit price, as you can see, is a number. Since it's a number, I would copy this portion. I would copy this portion. ठीक है ना? Okay. So since it's a number, I have copied that portion, and now I would just look into this. What is this unit price? P parser dot get current token की value दो. क्या वो current token field name है? Yes, it's a field name. अगर वो field name है तो get text, because field names in the form of JSON they are always string. String को लेने का तरीका होता है get text, और get text करने के बाद क्या उसकी वैल्यू जो मिली वो यूनिट प्राइस है. इफ इट्स अ यूनिट प्राइस तो आप अंदर जाइए, ट्रैवर्स योरसेल्फ टू द नेक्स्ट टोकन, अगले टोकन तक पहुंचिए, और प्रोडक्ट यूनिट प्राइस की वैल्यू जो है गेट इंटीजर वैल्यू, बिकॉज इट्स अ नंबर, इसे आप प्रिंट कर दीजिए. राइट, इज देयर एनीथिंग मोर? दिस लोकेशन विच इज अ स्ट्रिंग, और या सो आई वुड टेक दिस. अब मैं स्ट्रिंग आया है तो ये वाला गेट टेक्स्ट वाला उठा लेता हूँ. हियर आई वुड बी गोइंग टू प्रिंट इट आउट. पेस्ट कर देते हैं, सेव कर लेते हैं, and let me just go and copy this one. If p parser dot get current token field name, and if it's like location, अगर वो location है, if it's a location, then go to the next token, and get text, और उसका text लेके print कर दो. ठीक है? Once that everything has been done, and you have landed, that means there's no token left over here. Everything has been finished. End of the string. Right? You don't have to do anything over here. That means your program is over. This is like how we parse JSON content manually. This is how we parse JSON content manually by using hard coding things. I'm going to make slight changes when we were going to deal with Salesforce object. Don't worry. मैं करूंगा, वो भी आपको शायद कल या परसों जब भी ये सेशन होता है, you're going to see that as well, right? आप वो भी देखने वाले. अभी time is to execute this program. इसको हम पहले execute कर लेते हैं. Let's execute this. So to perform the execution of this, I would be calling this parse JSON content. Okay. JSON parser utility is the name of the class, and parse JSON content is the name of that method that I have created. All right, so let me execute this program and let's see the outcome of this. See, product code equals to this, product name equals to this, manufacturer is this. So this portion, this has been taken from the JSON string. Product code equals to ये तो खरा आपने दिया, but उसकी value जो आई है यहाँ, that is coming from JSON string which has been parsed properly. So this is the way we parse a JSON content. We perform deserialization. We have converted this JSON into Apex data. Here, what you are looking right now is an Apex data. is an apex data, right? So how do we perform the deserialization? How do we convert a JSON data into an apex data? That is what we just have seen, right? So go with this program by today. Tomorrow, tomorrow we'll go further with this, and we would start by parsing of for the Salesforce data, right? So this was just an example. And see, you also have an assignment over here. I have given this raw data. This is entirely a raw data, what you have to convert, right? Go with this program. Parse this content. I guess program is also have been given, but it would be a good thing if you would do it by yourself, right? You would do it by yourself. Yeah. I would going to start tomorrow's session from here. I would be going to start tomorrow's session from here. Yes. That's all for today. Any questions? Any questions? Thank you so much, Vijay.